Hey, everybody, it's Courtney Bowden, and welcome to the Think Like a Thought Leader show, where Black entrepreneurs and leaders like you come to learn how to increase your impact, influence, and revenue related to the work you do in the world. Now, today, I'm here with the amazing Therese Prentice, and she is a holistic herbalist, artisan, and founder of Eclectic Soul Collective. Hey, Therese, how you doing?
Hey, Courtney, how are you? I'm great.
I'm good. I'm really excited to have you on. Now, in this CEO therapy edition of the show, we're discussing how to holistically build immunity to help you proactively fight that RONA. So if you want to learn how to use the things in your kitchen to either get or stay healthy, you'll definitely want to stick around. And Therese even surprised me and said she'll be demonstrating how to make a really tasty recipe live for us. I'm really looking forward to that. And at the end of the show, we'll be giving you a link so that you can download her mini recipe book, Wellness in the Kitchen, Eating with a Purpose, for free. Now, that's exclusive to our Think Like a Thought Leader viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for doing that, Therese. So first, can you take a moment to tell those who aren't familiar with you about your mission and the work you do?
Well, the work that I do, oh my gosh, it's just so exciting. And basically what I help women do is I help them create a life that feels so good they don't need a vacation from it. So, and what that really means is that's having everything in alignment. That's having a space of peace and flow. And the key piece of it, the foundation of all of this, is wellness. And so
Yes.
if you don't have a well body and you don't feel good, then how can you feel good in all the other aspects of your life? So that's my mission, to really educate that wellness is simple, people complicated.
And we've heard so often that health is wealth. And I think that is even more true today, now that we're in the midst of a pandemic, something that's very contagious going around. And I've said more than a few times during this crazy time that I'm so grateful for my health. And I know that there are a lot of other people who are struggling with the coronavirus. So can you talk about what led you to create your company and pursue this work, Therese?
Well, like a lot of us, you have something knocking at your door constantly. My mom was a nurse. She was educated she's from Barbados, and she was educated in the UK, which is where I was born. And my mom, from the time I was 6 years old, was sick for various reasons. She had my brother. And after that, her body just wasn't, I guess, the same. And so she had something called a spinal fusion and a laminectomy, where they took pieces from her hip and put it into her spine. They fused it to her spine. And that was done when I was like 7 years old. From there, it spiraled, and she had cancer on and off throughout my life. And she passed away in 2002. She lived a really good life, but some of the things that I didn't even realize that she was instilling in me. One is that she knew from an early age that she had healing hands and I had healing hands. And it came she was very kind of matter of fact. It came in a matter of fact conversation. And because she had cancer and I really didn't know much about anything, my dad used to pop herbal pills, but he didn't know what he was doing. It led me on this journey to have a better understanding about health and the why of things. Like, why do these things happen? Because I was raised as a child that my mom could die at any point in time, and she always prepared me to be self-sufficient. She always said to me, when I was 12 years old and she had to have her leg amputated due to the cancer, she said, I want to make sure that you know how to do things so that if anyone has to take you into their home, that you can take care of you and your brother, and all they'll need to do is provide a roof over your head and food for you to eat. And so that was why I'm so talented, I guess, because she made sure that I was armed with things like sewing, because she always said, in her Bayesian accent, everybody always need a skirt, a pants, or something. You can always make them something, right? So if you have this skill, you can make things for them. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old. And so that fast forward led me to about 35 years ago, I discovered aromatherapy. I guess maybe it was because of my English, my English connection. There was a lot of information coming out of the UK. I've been using essential oils for about 35 years as part of my wellness therapy or my wellness practice and ritual. And then it fast forward about, I would say about 15, 20 years ago, I met someone who introduced me to herbs. And it was not until I met a mentor, I want to say maybe about 6 years ago, that I really started to take my knowledge, seriously. And she said, when you really embrace herbalism, you will bring it all together. Because we are one with the earth, we are one with the plants, and when we start living in alignment with the elements that we are and that are around us, we then can really begin to understand, and we can really begin to be well, not just well in our health, but well in our thoughts, and that's the beginning of everything.
That's so powerful. And like you, I grew up having all of this stuff around me. I tell people all the time, my grandmother is 93 and she is in excellent health. As a matter of fact, she just went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, and the doctor said that she has the heart of a teenager.
Oh, wow.
And, her and my grandfather were farmers, and they ate off the land. And so I've always been surrounded by wellness practices. I just didn't know it. I wasn't always, it wasn't like something like, oh, this is organic or this is whatever, right? Like
right.
It was just the way that we were raised.
Yes.
And, they raised my aunts and my uncles like that. As a matter of fact, I talked to my grandmother a couple days ago, and she was in her garden. So she's still planting a garden and all of that good stuff. And so I've seen how she's treated her body, and I've seen how she's taking care of herself. And that really fuels me to do the same for myself. And that trickles down to my mother and learning all of those things. And I tell people all the time that my grandmother has so much wisdom. She has so much wisdom locked up in her pinky finger than I have right now. And she's just an endless reservoir. And I think that it's primarily because of the holistic practices that she really embodied. And I mean, even as children, we weren't sick. I mean, even if something happened, my mom would call her and she would say, okay, go grab this and this off of your shelf and do this. So we weren't running back and forth to the doctor. And I think that that is paying off right now, because obviously our healthcare system is very fragile right now. Yes. And so it was important for me to do this show because, it's for Black entrepreneurs and leaders, but you cannot lead, you cannot make an impact, and you cannot have influence if you are not well. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not here to be able to spend it or even give it away or enjoy it, then what is it good for? So today's episode is really, really important, especially right now. And, let's just go ahead and talk about it. The coronavirus is getting real for so many people. And one of the main things we're realizing is that it's essentially a pop quiz for your immune system. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes. And yes, and yes, and yes. It really is revealing of what have you been doing lately, or what have you been doing over time, and what have you been eating over time. Hey, you can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, we want to put our immune system, which is like, I have a podcast coming up about that. I'm going to talk about the army, and I call it an army. So I'm going to call it an army here. And the army. So let's talk about the army that is the immune system, and the immune system is what is here to fight for us, right? And if you don't build your army, let's look at it as an army. If you don't build your army, and you only have one soldier in your army, and you're being attacked by 100,000 soldiers, what's going to happen to you? RONA is the 100,000, and you may have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 against the 100,000. How do you think you're going to fare? And that's real talk. And so every day we have to live and eat based on building our immune system, supporting it, because it's not about, I'm not here to tell you I can give you the magic bullet, the magic anything that is going to help you get rid of it or ward it off. But here's what I would like to leave you with.
Oh no. We lost Therese. Okay, she's gonna come back. Because I could tell she's getting ready to say something really good here. All right, her connection must have dropped. Let me get her back in here. All right.
Okay, so technology is going to be.
I could tell you were getting ready to say something good.
Yes. So every day we want to build our army called the immune system. Mm-hmm. And we want to eat that way. We want to rest as if we want to really be here. So if we want to be here, we want to eat accordingly. We want to rest accordingly. And we want to use our thoughts accordingly. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so when every day you eat, you have the choice to make a decision. It's all a choice. It really is all choices. It has nothing to do with anything else but a choice. The choice is, am I going to eat something that's live and fresh, or I'm going to eat something that's dead and boxed, canned, and it's been there, I don't know how long. That's the choice. Mm-hmm. It's simple. Mm-hmm. You know, if you come to my home, you'll see we have very little, and we only have it because of RONA. And they said, oh, you need to get some canned items that I'll probably end up donating to some cause that wants them. But I bought some just because of the crisis and the scare that happened almost a month ago. But my pantry's empty. My pantry doesn't consist of much of anything, maybe some baking items, but that's it. And then the rest of it is storage. My table, on the other hand, is full of veggies, is full of, things like ginger. It's full of, oranges, and then I make orange peel. So it's full of those things that were alive. And I'm going to talk about that. So that's what you need in these times, but you need that every day, long before RONA came. RONA is here to remind us of what we didn't do. Think about that. It's here to remind us and bring awareness that we didn't spend time with our families, and now we have to. Or it reminds us that the partner that you've chosen is not really that partner that you can live with, because you have no choice but to live with them now, right? So RONA is here to shine a light on those things that we just were too busy to deal with and too busy to even give our time and attention to. Because right now you can have all the money in the world, unless you can't even really get it from Amazon anymore, because Amazon is delayed. And we are an instant gratification society. So there's very little instant gratification. And the only thing that you have right now is you and your thoughts. And your thoughts are going to create your emotions and your feelings, right? And now is the time to really new rituals around your health and your wellness. The body is not designed to be a machine. Yes. The body is designed to get rest. I spoke about my adrenals. My adrenals were needing some support in the fourth quarter of last year into this year. And I had to get rest, because I was not resting. Resting doesn't always mean sleep, but it means calming the mind, calming the body, being still, not doing anything. Stop the thinking, stop the worrying. That's what that means. Because at the end of the day, you have found out you can't do anything about any of it. You can only do what the time suggests we do. So we have to eat well now.
Right. Yes. And I think that it's so, and for some reason I'm having an echo for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Okay, here it's better. But I think that one of the least talked about things is rest, and has been, because we live in such a hustle, go, grind type of culture that has been glorified. And I've talked to so many people, so many of my listeners and viewers, and they've said, you know what, honestly, there's some days where I know it's uncertain right now and we don't know what's going to happen and all of this stuff. But, honestly, I've taken a few days, a few weeks to just breathe, take a, and get some rest. People are more understanding. I feel like, people are giving others more grace. So, as bad as the pandemic is, I do agree with you, Therese. We are being forced to face some things and forced to rest. Now, health experts all around are telling us to build our immune systems. And before I even ask another question, I know that we're talking about how to holistically build your immune system, but I have to go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. Neither one of us are offering any medical advice. It's always best to consult your own healthcare expert for your individual situation. All right. So that said, as an herbalist, Therese, can you talk about the top 3 preventative things people should be doing right now to care for themselves? Because she said something really important earlier, talked about how the immune system is like your army. And anybody who's familiar with the military or the army knows that the army trains. You train those soldiers for the work that's coming. So what are the top 3 things that people can do to train their soldiers for the work?
Okay. So I do have to go back a little bit about training. Remember, you can't recruit an army, right? You can't recruit an army in the middle of a war and train them at the same time. So just remember that. You can recruit, but they still require training. And if you don't train them properly, then they're not going to be able to defend effectively, because it's like a spur of the moment thrown into the fire. So keep that in mind. So one of the things that and also keep in mind that this is not just for this time. This is for all times. Okay. Right. So it's for all time. So there's nothing I can really tell you to do that is just for this time, but it's for all time. And the first thing is our body is comprised of about 75 to 80% water. So are you providing the body with enough hydration and water? But we have to step back a little bit, and we have to make sure that the body can absorb water and it can absorb nutrients. And so, you have to look at absorption as part of the issue too, right? And everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by that in a few minutes. I'm going to first answer your question, and then I'll circle back around and say why some of this may not work for you, the person that's doing it. So we need water. We also need oxygen, right? And the type of herbalism that I practice or I speak to is elemental herbal artistry, right? We are aligning with the elements, because we are the elements, okay? So we are the wind, we are the water, we are the earth, we are the fire, we are the air. We are. When we do not have air, then we found out what? RONA is going to take us out. Because most people are wanting what? Air. And if you go air, they're looking for air. Their bodies want air. And so now that's oxygen. So we have to make sure that we have all of these things. And when we have too much of one thing, then we are compromising the body, right? We're overloading the body. So one of the things that a lot of people have is a lot of earth, meaning they have a lot of constriction in their bowels, in their colon. They don't go to the bathroom. Well, because they don't drink enough water and they don't eat enough green leafy, green veggies, which will then help to move that fecal matter through the system. And I like to use an analogy like this. If your food represents a train, and in the morning you put in a train, you send a train into the tunnel is the colon. Now you send a train in at breakfast, because everybody's now eating like more breakfast, lunch, and dinner because they're home. Right. So you send a train in for breakfast, you send a train in for lunch, and you send a train in for dinner. Those are 3 trains that have entered the tunnel. I have not mentioned that any of those trains have come out the tunnel. So if the train does not come out the tunnel, that is called what? Constipation. And if one train comes in and the next one comes in, they start beating up on each other, and they start beating up each other, and they become impacted. The only thing that's going to help break that up is some water, some green oxygen herbs with fiber, or you're going to have to use some type of herbs that are going to have to help you get that going. But it's still going to denote to water and some green leafy vegetables. Now, if you don't have those in your diet, then what do you think happens? So now this fecal matter is compounding, and it's like one train hitting up against the other, right? My hands are the trains, and they're hitting up against each other. So now those fumes, where do you think those fumes are going? They're recirculating back through your cells, through your body. And I don't know about you, but what do you smell when you go to the bathroom? If you are meat eaters, pork, beef, how does it smell? Well, imagine inside your intestines and your colon, that's what it's going to be like, of impacted meals, one after the other. And those people that go maybe once a week, imagine. Just once a week? There are people that go once a week. There are people that go twice a week, but they're still sitting in the trains. And guess what? The trains keep bouncing up against each other. What do you think's happening? They're constipated. And constipation is built up toxins. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, when we just like common sense, that's what happens. And so we have to, those are things that we've done to ourselves. So that's why I say it's a daily process of building. Our thoughts equal the process of building our immune system. Well, I'll give you some safety nets for today that can help you along the way. But you don't really want to have safety nets. You want to have a ritual of wellness in your life. And that's really what it is. And we've had 21 days that we could create a new habit. I know I have around rest. Now, also, if we don't rest the body. Now, it's been said that the body has certain cycles that it goes through. And while we're sleeping, there is an assimilation process that's happening. Oftentimes,
we regenerate our cells, right?
Correct. Well, what happens if you didn't sleep?
You don't get to regenerate like you should. You don't get to restore yourself.
Well, guess what gets to happen out in the marketplace? And we see this often. We have angry, upset people as entrepreneurs projecting their lack of rejuvenated cells out to the marketplace on their clients, and their unmet needs of nourishment out in the marketplace to their clients. And then we have angry clients and upset marketplace. And then all we want to do is focus on money. And I'll just sit on my chair.
Oh, that's deep. Okay, see now, if you're tuning in right now, I want you to go ahead and tag somebody who needs to hear this. Share this video live in this episode, even if you're watching the replay, because you got a whole word, Therese. This is deeper. This is deeper than just are you pooping enough? Right? Like this has real implications for how we're able to live our lives. And I love the fact that you're touching on this. Now, some people are maybe watching or listening, and they might be saying, well, y'all, I'm balling on a budget right now, and eating fresh or getting all of these herbs and all these things really isn't feasible for me right now. Ooh. How can people start to incorporate holistic methods in their lives without necessarily buying up all of Whole Foods or all of Amazon? In other words, what are some of the must-have items that should be on our shelves right now, and why? I know that you mentioned you showed us some ginger root. You showed us how you made some orange peels and things like that. How can people start to really use the things that they would buy anyway to help push their health forward, to help improve their health and create preventative, keep that preventative maintenance up?
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. This is a salad that we're going to have today when I make the salad dressing. It comes in a big bunch. Like, this is the salad. This was $2.49 for a whole week's worth of salad. Now, here's the thing. When our body is malnourished, our body is requiring us to eat more. So it becomes more expensive. Okay. But when you provide your body with proper nutrients, and it knows that it's going to be receiving proper nutrients, it becomes less expensive. Why? Because now you're sending down nutrients and nourishing foods that the body now knows what to do with. When you're sending down things that the body doesn't know what to do with, it's still sending up signals, I'm hungry. So now you grab the next thing. It's never being fed. It's malnourished. Goal is to start. I eat twice a day. I eat twice a day, and I'll have a salad, and I'm not full, like, because that's not the necessary goal here, but I'm eating to nourish my body. And so I can eat a salad, and I still eat poultry and fish. So I can add a small piece of meat there, but I don't eat as much because I give my body the nutrients it needs. So automatically my bill comes down.
You know, that's a really powerful way to look at it, because you know, let's be honest, for too long it's been a privilege to be able to eat well. You know, we have certain communities where there are food deserts, or there's not enough fresh produce. And, you know, honestly, the cheaper processed stuff is what a lot of people find themselves having to resort to. And so that's another reason why I wanted to do today's episode, just to talk about the simple things, right? We're not talking about, you know, we're not trying to accelerate you from 0 to 1,000 where you have to be outside planting your own herb garden, but just the most basic must-have items that you can really start to use to incorporate inside of your wellness ritual.
Okay, so this salad, right? So I buy this salad, or I buy a bag of kale. I can now make a salad with it, or I can make a smoothie with it. It doesn't, I can buy a bag of oranges. Oranges are pretty inexpensive. And I could show you how you could eat for the week on $20. So if you have $20, I could show you how you could eat. And I lived in the desert. Okay, I lived in a food desert. I'm from New York. And I've lived in the hoods of New York. I've lived in the suburbs of New York. So I know about food deserts. There's always some lettuce. There's always some tomatoes. There's always some cucumbers. Okay. And you can eat it. You can juice it. You can make smoothies with the same food. So the food that we're talking about today, you can do all that. Garlic, the ingredients that we're going to use are garlic, some honey. So we have some honey. I suggest local honey.
Okay. Why do you suggest local honey?
Local honey because the local bees have pollinated, and this particular honey is good for allergens.
Okay.
For those people that are in that area. The plants that grow in the area, the bees that are in that area are for the people in that area. So we want to eat locally grown food. We want to use local honey because that has been created and pollinated and grown. Nature just knows, and nature grows what we need. So dandelion is like everywhere, and dandelion is good for everyone. Okay. It's high in iron and it has zinc. You know, you hear a lot of people talking about zinc. So a mineral that no one really even discusses prior to RONA. Well, dandelion is a high source of zinc and iron. That's what it's known for. Now, I'm no scientist and I'm no doctor, but I'm telling you what it's known for is zinc and iron, high in zinc and iron. So some dandelion root, some dandelions. You can get some dandelions in the store. They're typically $2 a bunch. You can saute them too. And you can eat them like you would collard greens. Okay.
What?
And throw some garlic in it, right? We have some garlic here. I pre-chopped the garlic. So we have some garlic here. And garlic is going to be one of our main ingredients. It's a fire. It has a lot of fire to it. And we want fire because we have a lot of water with RONA. RONA is attacking our lungs, and there's a lot of water building up in people's lungs. So we want to, when we have water, how do we get rid of water to get it to evaporate? We use fire, right? So this is fire. Put a piece of garlic in your mouth and start chewing it. You're going to get a whole lot of fire. Okay?
Yes.
But guess what? You can buy a couple of bunches of garlic for really inexpensive, and you can make from salad dressing to season your food to put it in everything that you could possibly think of. Here's something that you could make. This is a bonus. Get some oranges, because oranges and tangerines and mandarins are really inexpensive right now. I bought a bag of mandarin oranges for $1.89. A place you can go to is Aldi's. Aldi's is very inexpensive, and they're all over the place now. So you don't have to go to the higher end stores. You can go to local stores, and whatever you see in there that's green, you need it. If it's green, you need it.
One thing I love about Aldi too is a lot of their fresh produce is automatically organic. And, they started to really incorporate organic into their offerings. And to be honest, those things that are denoted as organic sometimes rival the regular stuff that you would find in a big box grocery store. So when you talk about Aldi, that's my jam. I love Aldi.
Aldi's is inexpensive, and you don't need to buy the whole store. I think about buying 3 things that you can use this week and 3 things you can use next week. And everybody needs garlic. Like garlic is your thing. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the garlic. Another thing is oranges. Why? Because when you finish with your oranges, like you eat the orange, or you can put your orange with your greens in your smoothie. And then what you want to do is, these have all been air dried.
Okay. And that's orange peel, right?
That's orange peel. Why? Okay. Because the potency of the orange, we see in the color orange, that represents fire. We need to add so many things that are red, orange, and yellow to our diet right now. So if it's from nature and it's red, it's orange or yellow, it represents fire. You want to get more fire into your system, so that if there's anything that you can do to support your immune system right now against the water buildup that may be going on in people's bodies, is fire. So you want things that are naturally, see this? Yellow.
Yeah.
I mean, orange. And it has some yellow tones to it. Doesn't it look somewhat like fire?
It does.
Okay. And the same thing with lemons. You also can look at, and then the garlic. But another one that we are going to use today is what? Cayenne pepper. And I keep cayenne pepper. It's the great seasoning, but has so many benefits to the body, from your circulatory system. It's also what color?
Red.
And what color is that? Fire. So we use that too to help with boost our immune system as a seasoning. Everybody typically has some in the back of their closet, somewhere in the back of their closet. And if you don't have cayenne, you can use crushed hot peppers, whatever you have that's hot, that makes you think about fire. So I want you to leave here and say, ooh, fire and water. I need some fire to put out that water. Right?
And that's a really simple way to remember. And it really makes the idea that I've heard so many times of eat your colors come to life, because so often we hear, well, you need to eat all the colors of the rainbow in your diet. You need to incorporate all the colors in the rainbow on your plate. But oftentimes we're not told why. And so what I really love about what you're doing right now is talking about the benefits of eating things that are red, orange, and how to incorporate that fire and that water. So Therese, you're going to be doing a live demonstration of how to make a salad dressing that is going to help build our immune system. So can you walk us through that? So you mentioned some of the ingredients here, and for all of you who are watching right now, you might want to take notes. But again, we're going to have
to take notes. I already prepared a whole recipe book for the recipe that I'm creating right now. So they just need to pay attention. So that way they can catch it with their eyes. It'll enter their thoughts, and then they'll have it to just follow up with later. So,
okay, excellent. We're going to drop that link very soon here so that you can go ahead and get that special recipe book that Therese put together for us. So Therese, what are the ingredients?
I'm going to tell you.
And how do we make this amazing dressing?
So I'm going to tell you the ingredients, then I'm going to shift the camera so you can see me make it. So we are making sweet fire salad dressing.
Ooh.
And we're going to have that with these are our mixed greens mixed with spinach, and it's a spring green mixture.
Okay.
You see, I don't have a lot. I typically go for 1 to 2 handfuls of for my salad, depending
Okay.
on how hungry I am. And so next we have, we're going to use some raw honey.
Okay. And you already told us about the benefits of
Yes.
using raw, locally
Hot
sourced honey.
choice honey, right? We want to use raw honey. We want to use we're going to have a little bit of cayenne pepper to taste. Everyone's palate is a little different. So you won't have an amount for this. You put a little and taste it. We're going to also use amino acids, right? Liquid amino acids. That's a little soy sauce, but it's a natural alternative to soy sauce. We're going to use.
So
go ahead.
Can you talk about liquid aminos? Because maybe there's some people out there who don't know what it is or where to find it in the grocery store.
Okay.
Can you talk about why it's an alternative to soy sauce or salt?
Okay. Right. We don't salt. You can use salt. Salt is very beneficial to the body, but we want to use salt that's high minerals, right? So this is part of the issue that oftentimes people are taught to not have salt. But salt is one of the is a mineral that we need in our body. If we deplete it from our body, then remember, if we don't have a balance of all the things that we need and all the elements that we need, then we are deficient, right? And we can't live in a state of homeostasis. So we do need salt. We don't need the white salt that we see in shakers.
The iodized?
Yes. Okay. But if we need to get iodine, we need to get it from a seed plant. We need to get it from some type of seaweed potentially. But we can also use 2 different types of salt. We can use Himalayan sea salt and we can use Celtic salt. Celtic salt, you'll notice, is a little dampness to it, and that's what you want. Those are going to have higher mineral contents, and it's going to be more beneficial for your body. So that's why we're going to use this alternative called amino acids. Bragg's is a great product line for you to purchase, along with they were going to use the Bragg's apple cider vinegar as well. And this has the mother at the bottom. If you notice, it has a little.
What's the mother?
The mother.
My mama always told me to get ACV with the mother.
You want it unfiltered. You want to get all the benefits of the fermentation of this apple cider vinegar. So Bragg's is the brand of my choice. This is the one that I've used. And if you go to the Bragg site, they'll give you a free cookbook also, so you can learn more about their products. And these are all organic. And the amino acids, I use it for seasoning. People like seasoning. I don't necessarily need it in mine, but I added it because sometimes people need to have that salty taste. And I'll just say this to you. Most times we find that people have that are wanting or needing more salt are deficient in minerals. Okay.
So if you're craving salty, like salty snacks, maybe, is that
all of that? And I just added
that's a clue
for that reason, because sometimes people need a bridge to cross over as they move on to a healthier lifestyle. No one can go cold turkey. So if you've been eating junk all your life, your body's going to crave the junk. Here's what I do. Try to eat healthy more of the time as you travel the bridge to wellness, and make better choices along that way, and not try to just go cold turkey, because that's where the struggle is real.
Okay. Or hop on a diet, right? I think the diet culture is really it's not helpful.
No diets. We don't do diets.
This is a lifestyle, right?
Yeah, this is a lifestyle integration over time. This is not a one-hit wonder. But in this time of crisis, there's these things that we can do to help us bridge the gap. But then you still need to go back to the beginning. Sleep and water oftentimes can do a lot, and adding in more green, live foods, not overcooked foods or cooked foods. You need a lot of oxygen, and that's going to come from things like this that are alive, right? This is living. And when you see string beans that crisp, or celery that crisp, right? And if you want some salt, here's something you could do. Go and add celery to your smoothie or your juice.
Really?
Yeah, because celery has a high salt content. So that you can get some salt that way, but good salt, right? Good salt that's beneficial for your body. My favorite salt is Celtic. It's a little damp. You may not be used to that, but Himalayan sea salt is also good for you as well.
What about kosher salt? Because I see a lot of cooks cooking with kosher.
I don't know
like the
much about
workhorse.
kosher, but I wouldn't use kosher. That I think it's too coarse of a salt. That's for curing and doing other things. I think it's too harsh, but I don't know that much about kosher salt. The only two salts I recommend is the Celtic salt, and that's CELTIC, or the Himalayan sea salt, because it has the highest minerals. Okay. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to use these four ingredients plus the garlic. But the first thing that I'm going to show you is something real simple that you can do that's going to soothe your throat. So this is one of your recipes. This is, let's see if we can do it this way. This is honey garlic. So all we did was chop up garlic and pour honey on top.
That sounds good.
Okay. And we let it sit, right? We let it sit, I say 24
For how long?
hours. About 24 hours.
Okay.
About
and why would you let
hours.
it sit?
I'm going to let it sit because I want the medicinal properties of the garlic to infuse with the honey.
Ooh, okay.
And the longer you sit, the more the medicinal properties infuse with the honey. And then I'm just going to simply take a spoon. Let me see if I can show you. I'm going to take my spoon and I'm just going to simply get the honey part of it. You see?
Okay.
All I want is the honey. And then I'm going to drizzle it down my throat. So what we do is we just drop it down our throat and let it just drizzle down our throat. So if someone someone feels like their throat is dry or raspy or what have you, you can just drizzle it down your throat. And it's called a soothing throat honey. And it's the recipes in the recipe book. So you don't
even need a throat lozenge. You just need that, right?
No, because, honey is very medicinal. And so is the garlic. And so oftentimes here's the thing too, is that people are so out of tune with their bodies. They wait too late to do anything. So when you first feel like, ooh, you know how people used to say back in the day, oh, I feel something coming on.
Yeah.
That's when you're supposed to do something, not when it gets there, not when the package arrives, when they say, here's the tracking number. Okay. All right. Here's the tracking number.
You feel it on the way.
Yeah, on the way. Right. And sometimes when you get in a package, they give you the tracking number and you try to track it and it says not found. That's when you are supposed to start this process. Okay.
That's a good tip. Really good tip, Therese. And I hope that people, again, are either taking notes or whatever, because you have given us so many gems. And this is why I wanted to have you on my show, because I know that you're so full of knowledge that you just rattling it off is so natural to you. So I hope, even if you're watching this and you're looking for the demonstration for the immunity building salad dressing or whatnot, make sure you go back and take some notes. And also, again, we're going to be dropping a link to where you can get some of these holistic recipes directly from Therese that she's talking about today. Okay, go ahead, Therese.
Okay, and tell them stay tuned because I'm going to show them some herbs too that they can use. So don't go anywhere. Okay. So that's just something simple. I just drizzle it. I put it on my tongue and then I just don't swallow. I just let it go down slowly. Not a whole lot. You don't want to gag. You don't want to choke. Let's make sure we're clear. Just do it within your own comfort level. Let's put it that way. Okay. So now let's start our salad dressing. I'm going to let you can see where I'm working.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I have some garlic here. So we're going to just put this garlic inside here.
About how much garlic? And how much are we making?
This is about 3 to 6. Oh, how much? Okay, here's the thing. When I'm making stuff, I don't measure. In the cookbook, I came up with some measurements for you. But you'll see what this yields at the end. It's probably going to be about 1/4 of a bottle. Just so you know what we're going to end up making. This is what we're going to end up making in the end. And it's so good. And we're going to have our salad. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
So now we have our garlic. Okay. Now I'm going to add, excuse me?
I said enough for a few servings,
Okay,
it looks
let me just
like.
keep going. So now I'm just going to squeeze. Yeah, I'd say about, yeah, depending on how much dressing you like. So
Okay.
now squeeze out some honey, and I'm going to stir it up and see when it gets to a consistency that everything is covered.
Okay.
So this pretty much looks like everything is covered and it's not falls nicely in the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to add my 3 to 6 squirts of amino acids, depending on how much salt you typically like. I'm just putting 3 in here because I don't really like salt. I do 4. I'll just go with the 6.
So basically to taste for people.
Yeah, this is for taste. Correct.
Okay.
All of this is to taste. I wouldn't typically use the amino acids, but depending on the day, follow what your mind tells you, because I'm very intuitive in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what I'm feeling that day. So next I'm going to take the apple cider vinegar, and I'll say maybe do this to taste too. I kind of know what I like, but do it to taste. So in other words, pour in some and then taste it and see how you like it.
Okay.
So we're going to stir this up, and this is going to thin out the honey and the garlic.
Well, I was always taught that apple cider vinegar is really, really good. You talked about making sure that we get the apple cider vinegar with the mother, but can you talk about the benefits of apple cider vinegar?
Well, apple cider vinegar is it is great for neutralizing the stomach. Not neutralizing, but helps with digestion. Apple cider vinegar also is helps with bacteria, and I don't like to go into a lot of the other side of the fence with the medical side, but I'll just say you can use it to strengthen your immune system and support your immune system. You can think of it like kind of cleansing too. You can use it in place of lemon. Okay, so this is I'm going to add a little bit more honey because I like mine a little thicker.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have our salad dressing. That's my good consistency. If you want it a little thicker, you can add a little bit more honey.
Okay.
And next, I don't mind hot, so I'm just I say put in like as hot as you can stand it.
Okay.
I'll open mine up and.
Oh, that's hot, Therese.
That's going to be
now, I don't do a lot of spice. That's
going
to be a little hot.
I know, but remember, that's to taste. Right.
Got you.
This is sweet fire, but it all depends on how you like it. So be careful with the heat. You can always add more heat. You can't take it away. Okay. You would have to make a whole nother blend. So that's going to be a lot of fire in here, but that's going to be good for the body, because guess what? What happens when the fireman comes? Everything runs, right?
That's it.
Everything runs away. All that noise, like I'm gone. So that's what this fire is going to do for this. Yes. Okay. So now I have a little bottle here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add what I already created to this to make a little bit more.
Okay.
And I'm going to stir this up.
That looks really good. And I wish I could come through the screen and taste it.
Oh my goodness. This is when I say so good, because think about it. It has sweet, but with a little fire.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's amazing. And then that garlic with a little crunch to it. The longer you let this sit overnight, oh baby, it's going to be so good. So now I'm going to take it over the sink, and I'm going to pour it into the bottle so you can see what we yielded.
Oh, that's a good amount.
There we go.
Oh, yes. I'm going to have to make this today.
And that's
quite a bit.
Now, when we get ready to eat our salad, we just shake it up. And then this is, let me tell you something else about bottles. You want to start saving your glass bottles, because you can recycle them. One is good for the earth because you're going to start reusing and recycling. But the other thing is you can use this now for salad dressing. Now look at the color of this. What color do you see in there?
It's like reddish.
There you go. So when we look at a flame of fire, what colors do we see?
You see red, orange,
That's
yellow.
what you need to be eating now. Look at a flame of fire and see what do you see in there? Those are the colors that'll help anyone say, oh, should I be eating this? That's what you should be eating now. So now we have our salad.
Okay.
And I'm just going to pour this on. Now I want my garlic, and because of the way I cut it, it's not coming out hard. It's not coming out enough for me. So I'm just going to pour this on. And that is going to be my lunch. So I'm going to just taste it for you so that everyone here can see.
And because of, social distancing, I can't be in Therese's kitchen. Oh, I'm so jealous right now. Right after this, I'm going to go make that dressing because it looks amazing. And
the garlic is nice and crunchy.
Yeah.
It has a little fire. And you guys thought my mouth was going to be on fire, right?
I did.
How much cayenne I put in there. And my husband is the fire lover. Like he can have a 20 alarm fire and he's okay.
Yeah.
Because of the vinegar and because of the honey, it somewhat brings down the fire, but it still gives me that full effect in my body.
Got you.
And for those of you that like salt and sugar, you got it there. It's just more beneficial to your body than to have the artificial sugar that creates havoc in your body. And one of the things that one of my mentors taught me the other day is that I asked about sugar. And I said, why is it that so many people are addicted to sugar? And why so many people, their palates are like, they just have to have it? It's because the sugar has kind of burnt out their palate. So they have to eat different foods and their palate will come back. So in cleaning the palate and bringing it back to life. So we do so much damage to our body and we don't really realize it. But the body's so smart. The body comes back very quickly. So
we can reset. We can hit the reset button.
And this is the time to do. This helps you reset because that has so much benefit in it. This salad. Okay. So let's dissect this. We have purple in here, right? For the kidneys. Typically when we see purple, we know it's for the kidneys.
Okay.
Purple is for the kidneys. Right. And then we have green because we're eggplant. Look at the shapes of things. You start to begin to see what they're good for. We have the red in here. You can see it. It's like fire red. You know, that orangey red. Then we have our garlic, another fire plant or vegetable. I'm gonna call it a vegetable today. And it's crunchy. And we've layered our fire now. Then we have our apple cider vinegar. It's going to get in there and cleanse out our body. So this little salad right here has oxygen. Remember, green is oxygen. So when we see green, it's like oxygen. So here we are. We got so many benefits in this one little salad.
And it looks like it tastes amazing. That's the one thing about eating, great, is that it doesn't have to be nasty. There's so many different ways that you can mix and match things. So thank you so much, Therese, for making that. What do you call it? Sweet fire.
It's called sweet fire salad dressing. Sweet fire salad dressing. It has a hint, to me, a hint of fire on top of the sweet. So you taste the sweet first, and then the last taste is like that hot, like it comes in and it's a little sneaky spice to you, and it actually tones down the garlic. So all of this is, known to help with your throat and help boost your support. I don't even say boost, but support your immune system, because your immune system knows what to do. So it doesn't really need a boost. Right. Okay. I won't say that your immune system needs a boost, because boosting means that I have to tell it what to do. I have to give it information so it knows how to leap. Your immune system knows exactly what to do. It just needs a support right now. It needs added support. And depending on how you treated it, it will determine how much support it really needs. But I don't want it just to be about RONA. I want it to be about lifestyle changes and moving forward. You know, you can, even if you remember those oranges we talked about, because the steam that I'm going to tell you about, and I want you to make, has oranges in it. So you could take those same oranges, boost your vitamin C by adding it to this salad. Make sense? Right?
That makes
because
sense.
we want to boost our vitamin C, because that's what the media has told us. Boost our vitamin C, boost our zinc. Remember I mentioned dandelion. That's available in the grocery store, or you can buy tea bags in the grocery store too. Dandelion to boost your zinc, vitamin C from your oranges, the oranges that you can also use to make a drink. So you take the oranges, you take some ginger. Remember we showed ginger? You take some garlic and mix it all up together, put it in the fridge, drink it cold. If you need it sweet, add some of that same honey you bought at the store. So now we made a salad, we made salad dressing, we made a drink, all from the same oranges, garlic, and honey and salad that we already bought. And we can take this same salad with maybe some, you don't even need kale, because sometimes I just take salad, mixed greens, and make a smoothie. Okay. So now that one set of money that you spent, you done made a meal and drinks and all of that for a whole week. And it all supports your immune system.
I love that. You know what, Therese, we're going to have you back on the show to teach us how to eat off of $20. Because you mentioned that earlier. And I know that there's some people who are thinking like, what? Like, I'm going to the grocery store. It's so funny because I see a meme that's going around where people are talking about how their utilities are like at zero, their rent or mortgage is at zero right now, and their grocery bill is like over $1,000. So I'm sure that people would love to tune in to learn about how they can eat immunity boosting foods without breaking the bank.
Yep, absolutely. You can definitely do that. I mean, in these times where you may not even be able to get what you really want. So you can definitely go in the store and find things that $20 can go a long way. Definitely.
Yes. So how long does the dressing last?
Well, you have to remember what's in here. Mine doesn't last that long because I eat salad every day. So that's another thing that I will also mention. In order to get your veggies in, eat a salad with every meal is the goal, or eat at least one salad a day, because one salad a day is more than most people ate yesterday. So that's what we do. So it depends on how much. I mean, this will last. It has honey in it. Honey doesn't spoil. It has garlic in it. I don't put mine in the refrigerator. Just like if you go to the grocery store and you buy a Bragg salad dressing, it never goes in the refrigerator. Okay. Think about it. So you can put this in the refrigerator if you want to. It's up to you. But mine doesn't. I make it as I go. I don't. The process that I live by is that I don't store a lot of stuff. I eat fresh. Okay. So I make it as I go. So I'm not going to make gallons of this. This is going to last me all week. Okay. Right. So this is going to be good all week. So
and that also helps eliminate waste, right?
Correct.
Like needless waste.
Yes. And that's why I recycle bottles. This was a salad dressing bottle. I just recycled it. I peel off the labels and I reuse them because I'm about saving the planet. You know, one of the things that they said in India, they've never seen the tops of the Himalayan mountains, but now they can because of the pollution.
I saw that. It was like for the first time in 30 years or so, right?
So, you know, it's real. And this time is the time for us to really pay attention to what's real, because we're always so busy. We don't have time to see and think and be a part of the real world. The real world is the earth. The real world is nature. Getting outside, putting our feet on the soil, you know, getting outside, getting fresh air. You know, they also say that vitamin D is very low. They also say that RONA, people are deficient in vitamin D. Well, why? Because people are so busy inside trying to make money. But all the money in the world right now can't save anybody from RONA.
Now you're right about it.
All the money in the world. I mean, there's people, it's hitting everybody. We don't know who. We don't even know if we are positive because so many people are asymptomatic. So all we can do is put our bodies in the best possible light, best possible position. So if RONA, Ebola, and anybody else calls on us, you know, our immune system has the best chance. Nothing is guaranteed, but the best chance. And if all I've done is give my body the best that I can do, that's all that I can do. The rest is out of my hands, if that makes sense.
And that makes perfect sense, because that's a very empowering way to think about it right now. I know that there have been a lot of people who are scared. You know, they've seen their loved ones, their friends, and maybe even they've experienced RONA up close and personally, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that this conversation that we've had is so empowering, because we're hearing on the media, the mainstream media, you know, it's a lot of fear-based stuff, right? A lot of reactivity that's going on. What is going to be the next vaccine? What can we do now after we're already sick? And so one of the purposes of this particular episode of an edition of CEO Therapy of the show, Therese, was to talk about what we can start doing preventatively in order to build up our immune system. Okay, fam. So remember I said that at the beginning of the show, you're going to get access to a free mini recipe book download. Well, Therese, where can folks go to get that?
They can go to bit.ly/wellness in the kitchen. So bit.ly/wellness in the kitchen.
Okay. And if you're watching this, you'll be able to see it right on the screen. You'll be able to go and download the mini recipe book that Therese is giving you totally free. That includes the recipe to the sweet fire salad dressing, so that you don't have to rely on all the packaged stuff, all the bottled stuff. You can create something that tastes really good, but also builds your immune system. And there's so many more recipes. How many other recipes are in there,
There's,
Therese?
I think there's 3 recipes in there. One, a steam that we didn't make today, and that is to help clear their nasal passage, so that if they have anything, foreign invaders or anything in their nasal passage, it'll help to drain them, and so they can do an old-fashioned steam. So I included that in there as well, and it's all. To be honest with you, it's all the same ingredients. So when you go to the store, it's the orange, you eat the orange, you juice the orange, or you make a smoothie with the orange, you save the peel, you put it on a plate and let it dry. When it's dry, you break it up into pieces, you put it in your steam, you put your garlic and your ginger and your Himalayan sea salt in your steam, you put that on your food, you put that in your salad dressing, and boom, there you are. You just went to the grocery store one time, but have 5 different ways to use it. And if you have some lemons, you can squeeze lemons into your water so you can get hydrated more. We talked about that at the top of the hour. You bought your salad. You can make your salad into smoothies. You can make them into juicing. So really, at the end of the day, you have like 5 things. You go to the grocery store, that's probably about $10, and you can eat all week and be healthy and have a multi-dimensional experience in helping your army call your immune system.
I love it. Now, before we go, Therese, I have a listener question for you. This is from T. Okay. She says, my sis and I are selling bulk herbs, but we need guidance on digestible ones to round out our offerings. We already have ones for topical and spiritual practice. What should we have in our collection? Because you are an herbalist. And you did mention the fact that you had some recommendations for us. But so what are some of the top herbs people need to be having in their collection, specifically for tea?
Okay, so let me move these around. Let me shift a little bit, and I'm going to show them to you. So the first one that I'm going to show you, I hope we have a couple of minutes that I can just put this together.
For sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let me
show us.
Yeah, I find that it's better when people can see it versus when they are just hearing about it. So I'm going to use this as my palette.
Okay.
So the first one is astragalus. It's an immune support. It is kind of woodsy looking. So that's our astragalus. We can add this to our tea. And the next one is echinacea.
Okay, I've heard of echinacea.
And echinacea is something that we don't use every day. It's a rescue. Let's put I'll call it a rescue, right? And
Okay.
why I'm going to call it rescue is because I would say use it no more than 7 to 10 days and then recycle it with something else.
Why is that, Therese?
It's because it's powerful, and you want your body to be supported by echinacea when you need it versus something that you use ongoing. You want it to have the potency when it's there to rescue you.
Okay.
Next, we have nettles. And nettles is our nourishing herb. I call it like a vitamin in a bottle. It has all of your minerals and vitamins, and you can just drink this and get pretty much everything that you need. When somebody has a depleted body, they need more oxygen. Notice that it's dark green, right? Notice that this is green. Notice this is dark green as well. We also learned that oxygen is green, correct?
Correct.
This is going to provide you with more nutrients. It's going to provide you with oxygen, and it's going to give you the nourishment that your body needs if it's depleted.
Okay.
Next, we have ginger. I'm going to make a tea out of all this when I'm done. This is ginger, and ginger we learned today is spicy, right? Bite into a piece of ginger. What happens to you? It's like fire, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's been known, all of these have been known to be what they say antiviral, antibacterial. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't attest to that, but it's been known to be antiviral and antibacterial, and it'll help support the immune system. Next, in these times, we need an adaptogen. An adaptogen supports the body in those areas that it may be deficient. And so we have ashwagandha, one of my favorite plant allies, ashwagandha. And ashwagandha is what I've used for my adrenals. It's kind of calming, and it's like a sedative. It's not like a sedative, but it's more sedating. It's more calming in its nature. And you can put this, I boil hot water and I pour it over the ashwagandha, let it sit overnight, and it makes a nice nutty tasting drink. I put mine in the fridge, or I drink it room temperature, and it helps to kind of mellow me out. It helps me relax my body. Ashwagandha. Next. Can't forget about the one that everybody's talking about, and that is my favorite, elderberry. So we have elderberry. Everyone's talking about elderberry. I've been making elderberry syrup. Oh my goodness. Feels like every day. Elderberry syrup. So
I've been seeing you on Facebook, and people are asking you about your syrup. Your elderberry syrup.
So I've been making elderberry syrup. It's great. It's you can take this just about every day if you wanted to during times like this to support your immune system. It's high antioxidant as well. And so I make a lot of elderberry syrup. I use cloves. I use cloves and cardamom, all spicy medicinal type herbs and add honey to the elderberry, and it makes a deep purple syrup that you can take on a daily basis. I typically take about a tablespoon every day or more if I feel that something's arriving in the mail.
You got your tracking number.
Yes, I got my tracking number. And this is something really, really powerful that I blended for a time such as this. And this is like a proprietary blend that I put together of 12 herbs. And this is called Happy Immune Formula. And what this does is this has lots of herbs in it that have been known to have antiviral properties. Also, it has antiviral properties. It has boosting immune support properties. It has nourishing properties. It's like it has some herbs in there like detectives. So it's this one here. It's called a Happy Immune Formula, and it has 12 herbs in it. Anytime I use 12 herbs in a formula, you know that it is designed to do something, because we really don't need a lot of herbs in our lives on a daily basis. is there to support us. So it would be 3 herbs. And what were the 3 herbs that I think that we need right now? Would be if you know that you're feeling good and you pretty much eat well and you've done the best that you can and you're following some of the practices I talked about today, I would say ashwagandha and nettles, and another one called oat straw. And I didn't pull it today, but I would say oat straw. Oat straw because it's like for your nerves, for your nervous system. It supports your nervous system. Ashwagandha because it's an adaptogen, and we need it. I think everyone needs an adaptogen in their life right now because we do need to adapt. And nettles because it's one of those nourishing herbs that just kind of gives you everything that you could possibly need in terms of support. It's an all-around supporter.
So T, if you're watching, these are some really key digestible herbs that you can have to round out your offering. Now, Therese, where can people find these herbs? Because first of all, I know some of them are a little bit hard to spell, and some of them may not be readily available in big box grocery stores. So where can people find
They could reach out to me. They could actually reach out to me. I have them all here in my home. I have over 100 herbs here. And I do, yes, I have over 100 herbs in my home, and I use them. I've been using them for years for my own, my own wellness and my own rituals. But I do have them. I do have a lot of the ones, all of these that I have here today. Those I do have available if people are interested.
Okay. And so, fam, if you want to connect with Therese, you can go to eclecticsoulcollective.com. Therese, is your proprietary happy immunity blend going to be on that website?
Yeah, it's available. Everything is available. Everything is available. I like people to reach out to me first, though. As an herbalist, I just don't recommend everything for everyone. So I would rather them really reach out to me to figure out what's going on for them, so I could point them in the right direction.
Okay. So guys, if you're watching this or listening to this, you have questions about what herbs you need to be using to boost your own immune system, reach out to Therese at eclecticsoulcollective.com. And she's such a great resource for information, as you can see.
And Courtney, I wanted to mention this too. One of the other reasons why I like people to connect with me is because I'm part of a national network of herbalists. And sometimes people have other things going on. They may have some underlying conditions, and they may need to really speak to someone locally. And because that local person can assist them. And so if they reach out to me, then I can, through my network, we have a whole network of herbalists around the country that I can match them up with someone local to them, and they could actually sit down and maybe even do a custom blend for them. You know, we really want to help people support their situation because we are all different. And so while we have been taught that we are all the same, we're learning through this crisis that we're going through called the pandemic, that we all are very different. And so the herbalists around the country would be able to support them. And these are people that I know well, part of my network. We connect with each other. We're more of a collective. And so that was part of the other reason I would like them to connect with me, so that we can really serve them in the manner in which they may need.
That's really great. Now, Therese, I know as a thought leader, you have to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. You even said that you have over 100 herbs in your house. I really I gotta come to Tampa and take a tour of your herbs, because I'm so curious about what's in there. But you also have to have a visionary approach. So what's next for you? What are you working on?
What's next for me? What I'm working on is that I'm going to be teaching people how to become a healer in their home. That is my next big project. And then also working with herbalists and healers and aromatherapists and people in that, helping, or even nurses that want to come to this more holistic side of the playing field, help them package up their expertise and really kind of really embrace what people are really wanting and needing at this point in time. So that's why I opened the Eclectic Soul Collective, because it is a collective approach to the common issues that we see in the marketplace now. And that was before the pandemic. So it was almost like spirit intuitively led me to this place and this time, because I definitely was ahead of my time. There was a time when no one wanted to hear what I had to say, because they were like, oh, girl, yeah. They would call me when they were dying or in crisis. But now I see people are open to everyday wellness, because I always say wellness is simple. People complicate it. You know, you see the stuff in the store every day and you pass it by. But I also, in their defense, will say they really don't know what and how to approach it. And so I want to be that solution for the how.
I love that, because a lot of us aren't taught this in, you know, in school, or, you know, if one of our family members doesn't already know it, chances are we probably family members or friends, right? Chances are we just don't know. And a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And today I want to thank you so much for being an incredible thought leader in these crazy times, by breaking it down for us and making holistic wellness simple. What we did today, I think someone can easily replicate and do, and really start to care for themselves. It doesn't have to be hard. And you demonstrated that today. And I appreciate you for taking the time to do that, Therese.
Well, thank you so much, Courtney, for having me. It was just like, you know, Spirit just had it right on time. It was almost like, wow. So thank you for listening to, you know, Spirit talking to you and reaching out to me, because I had a ball, and I hope that I can help. This message will help a lot of people feel more comfortable and confident in wellness is simple, and stop complicating it.
Yes. And again, we're going to have you back on to show us some more tips and tricks that we can use to really use the things that are in our kitchen to just preventative maintenance, you know, and to keep that immune system you know, whole. I'm not going to say boosted, but whole and supported. All right. So thank you again, Therese.
Thank you.
Now, if you enjoyed this conversation and it inspired you in some way, I'd love to hear about it and know your number one takeaway. So drop down in the comments and tell us what your aha moment was from this episode. And if you're listening to this, take a screenshot of you listening, post it to the Instagram stories, and tag me at the Courtney Bowden so that I can share it with the world. And if this episode spoke to your soul, go ahead and hit that share button or tag someone who needs to see this in the comments. If you want to hear more content and conversations like this, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe and leave a review in iTunes. You can go ahead and search Think Like a Thought Leader. You'll find it there. And finally, if you have any questions, feel free to email thinklikeathoughtleader@gmail.com. And we might even use your question for a future podcast episode. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time,